Hey all, what's going on? Jordan Connect here with another episode of Embrace the Chase, where we are interviewing 100 entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers over the next year, and we're way over halfway there. We're at 52, and we've got a whole bunch more lined up, but you all are in for a special treat on this Friday night because we have an internationally recognized speaker, Leon Witter. A lot of you guys know who he is. You follow him. You love his stuff. But many of you have not heard his full story or even heard the current projects he's working on. So stay tuned. We're going to have Leon kind of just fill our brains full of a bunch of great goodness. Sir, is there anything you'd like to add to that before we get started?
So what would I like to add to that? All I can say is, look, Jordan, I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you've invited me to participate with Embrace the Chase. And I promise you, you're just going to love everything that we're going to discuss today. I'm going to bring the heat. I'm fired up and ready to go.
I love it. I'm super pumped up. Let's kind of start from the beginning. For anybody who does not know your full story, can you kind of just start us? What actually inspired you to become an entrepreneur, to become a speaker, and then how did you work your way to actually accomplish that?
That's an interesting question. I mean, what inspired me to become an entrepreneur? I'd say it's always been in me to be an entrepreneur. I've got a background in music, so I've got a background as a producer and as a DJ. And I was even on the radio for a couple of stations. One of them was award-winning. The most recent station, which was about 6 years ago, was the most recognized station within our area, within our part of London. And we had one of the best shows because of the energy and the personality that we brought to the show, more than just the music, you know. But in terms of what led me on the path that I'm on now, it started back in 2006. It was about 2006, and a very good friend of mine, his name is Michael Brown, he gave me a book, which was Rich Dad, Poor Dad 2, the Cash Flow Quadrant. And when I read this book, at the very or near the beginning of this book, there's a story about two guys that were given a contract, right, for the village that they were in, because the village only had water when it rained, unless people walked to the lake with their buckets and brought water. And the chief of the village asked people who would like to have the contract to supply the village with water. And two people said yes. So two people had the contract, right? And the first guy went out and he got himself 2 steel buckets. And the second guy disappeared for months. So the first guy was like, hey, this is the jackpot. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm the only guy providing water to this village. And he was just creaming in all of the money, right? Now, he had to work hard. He had to get up early in the morning before the rest of the village. And he finished really late most days because he's carrying 2 buckets of water to and from this lake and filling it up in the well, in the silo that the village had built. Right, but he was okay. He didn't have to compete with no one, and he only worked Monday to Friday. He took the weekends off. Right now, the second guy who disappeared, who just like either he went into witness protection or he got abducted by aliens. Right, but he eventually emerged, and what he'd been doing in the background was he didn't really have that much money, but he had a great idea. Right, and with that idea, he approached 4 investors. He managed to acquire 4 investors, 4 people that believed in his vision and his idea, that invested in him. And he appointed somebody to be the president for this company that he had created. And the whole idea behind this company was to produce or to provide clean running water from the lake into the village. Now, when he first made the village aware of what he was launching, he said, I know that there have been a lot of complaints about the water that you've currently been receiving over the last few months because you're complaining about dirt being in the water, because you've got a guy that's like carrying 2 buckets back and forth, right? And sometimes the buckets may not have been clean. So he's like, you know, I know that there were complaints about the water being dirty, but I can promise you that we've got a high-tech water filter system. So you're going to have nothing but clean, pure water. And the water's going to be running 24/7. So you're going to have access to this clean running water 24/7 all the time, even on weekends, right? And he also said that I'm able to offer you this water at 25% of the original price. So people were saving 75 cents on the dollar for water that was much better that they'd have access to 24/7. Now, what do you think the other guy did? Well, he did what most people do. He went out and got 2 extra buckets and got his sons to work with him so that he could now provide water on the weekends. And he also reduced his price to match the price of the other water that was 75 cents on the dollar cheaper. So his margins completely went down. He was working twice as hard, carrying 4 buckets now. And when his sons eventually went to uni, he hired employees, had union issues and all sorts of other stuff. And he virtually worked until he was dead, right? But the other guy and here's the key word here, the other guy that created a system, that systemized the process, that took somebody on to be the president for his company, so he didn't have to show up to do the back-breaking work. He then thought, well, if our village relies on a system like this, surely there's going to be dozens, hundreds, thousands of other villages around the world that need a system like this. So he rewrote his business plan. He already had a success, so it wasn't difficult to get more funding from investors, right, for him to grow his idea further. And he was only making 1 cent per gallon, right? Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. However, when you've got billions of gallons of water being provided on a daily basis, that 1 cent per gallon is a lot of money. Now, I read that story and it resonated with me. And I felt like the guy that was walking back and forth every day with the buckets. That's how I felt going to my job. And I knew that if I didn't change something, because nothing changes if nothing changes. If you keep on doing what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten, right? So I felt like the guy going back and forth, doing all of that donkey work daily. And I knew that I'd be doing that to the day that I die, because if you think that any company is going to give you a decent pension you can live on, if you're a millennial like we are, you're deluded, right? You need to have a plan B. You need to have something in place. So I became very open to the idea of network marketing, because that's something that Robert Kiyosaki highly recommended in that book. He said, you know, it's the most cost-effective way to own a franchise, because McDonald's, you need what, between $500,000 to $1 million to invest in a McDonald's. And then you've got all of those weekly, monthly overheads, you've got employees, you've got all of this crap to worry about, right? Whereas with network marketing, you can get started for less than $500. And you don't have employees to worry about. You have CEOs that are going to be part of your organization, that are CEOs for their organization. And all of that, the idea of leverage, the idea of having a system, that just resonated. So I became very open and I started looking for the right network marketing company. Do you want to hear the problem though? So the problem is that I went to loads of opportunity meetings. I saw toothpaste, I saw washing powder, I saw makeup, I saw weight loss, I saw coffee, I saw magic pills that make you lose weight, lose 1,000 pounds overnight. I saw corsets. I'm not even a woman, right? But I saw corsets. I saw all of these things. I saw all of these happy, clappy people saying how wonderful their product was and how happy they were. However, when you've got someone that looks like they've never needed to lose even a pound in their whole life, in fact, they need to gain weight, and they're super pumped up and excited about selling weight loss, then you realize they're more excited about the money rather than the actual product. And I couldn't get excited about any of these products. I'm not a personal coach. I drink coffee, but I'm not a coffee fanatic. You know, I definitely don't wear corsets, right? My hair isn't long enough for that crap. Do you know what I'm saying? So I went to dozens of meetings, but I never got started because I just never really saw something that resonated with me until one day I found something. It's what I'd been looking for throughout the whole journey. And that really changed my life, because personal development is something that is a big part of network marketing. And here's the thing. I went to my first personal development seminar at a point where I was dead broke. I couldn't afford the ticket. It was £70. And someone that I highly respect with an international business said, Leon, you need to be at this event. And I said, I can't go to the event. I'm broke. I don't have the money. Now, if any of you listening to my voice right now are familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, his poor dad always said, we can't do this, we can't afford that, right? Whereas his rich dad taught him to have the mindset of thinking, how can I afford it? And it's not about the resources that you have in order to become successful. It's how resourceful You can be with what you've got, and that's what's going to lead to your success. So I became very resourceful, and I came up with the money, right? It was painful, right? I had to sell some stuff, but I came up with the money, you know? And I shot a video talking about this earlier. The event was with a guy called Matt, and he's known as the unemployed millionaire. And 8 weeks after that event, and in fact, let me just back up. That year, I'd had 7 job interviews that were all unsuccessful. My child was literally, my son was literally 6 weeks away from being born. I'd been on the same salary for 6 years because I was overpaid doing the job that I was doing, because I'd had a promotion in the past, and then I was a quitter back then, right? Like back in 2006, 2007, I think it was. And I quit because I just didn't like the manager I was working for. And it made it hard for me to move on. This is why you should never rely on somebody else to provide for you. This is what I love about entrepreneurship. You rely on yourself, on your own resourcefulness, right? But I didn't have any success with any of those interviews. And after I went to my first personal development event, I applied just a few of the principles that I learned in that event. And I jumped not 1, not 2, but 3 pay grades in my job, and my salary went up by 50%. Pretty awesome, right? Wouldn't you like to have 50% increase? But do you want to know what the problem with that was? The more money you earn doing your job, because you're at a higher position, the more of an expectation it is for you to show up before everybody else, for you to leave before everybody else. So I was earning 50% more money, but I was spending 50% more time at work. And the people that were earning like the megabucks, like that were earning 100,000 plus, they were in the office before me, and they were in the office after I left. So I thought to myself, oh my God, I've got this promotion, which is awesome, but do I really want to be one of those guys? I mean, some of the people that were around my age, or maybe even 10 years older than me, looked 100 years older than me because they were gray already and their hair had fallen out, and they just looked dissatisfied with life. So I had to check myself before I wrecked myself. And I'm just fortunate that I found an idea, something that we're doing anyway, right? Something that, you know, like I said, the problem with the other companies is people might do a post saying, hey, I'm about to drink this coffee. And you're thinking, yeah, you're selling that coffee. Hey, I'm going to take this magic pill. Yeah, you're making a profit off that magic pill. But there are things that we post on social media that we just post that people naturally like and naturally engage with. And it doesn't look salesy, but you're always selling. Anything that you share on social media, whether you're making money from it or not, you're selling. Whether it be your opinion, whether it be a product. I mean, I'm going to Jamaica next week. The fact that I've said that, I'm selling going to Jamaica to you right now, going on vacation, you know? So that's kind of where my journey began and how it got me into where I am now. It started with network marketing. But the problem with network marketing, it's tough.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It's really tough. I mean, do you have any experience with network marketing, Jordan?
I did. I worked for an organization called Your Association for a little over 5 years and did very well with it. But quick story to kind of answer your question. It was a year ago that I got married with obviously my wife. And when we came back from our honeymoon, a bunch of stuff went down that we were unaware of with our team, and everybody quit. And it was one of those moments where it was like, you have to rebuild all over again, start with new relationships, new everything. So yeah, no, I have had that experience. It's not fun.
It's not fun. At least you had some success. 97% of network marketers don't really have any true success, just like 90% of businesses fail. So when I got started with network marketing, the problem was that I had a sales background. So I was always good at selling a product that people walk through the door to buy. When people come into the bank, they've already got a relationship with the bank. Sometimes people walk in and say, I want a loan. Yeah. Other times you can look at their profile and see that they need a loan because the loan's going to save them money. So
what did you do at the bank?
Loads of roles. The last role that I did at the bank was business development in large commercial, large corporate banking, which meant literally I had to prospect companies turning over 25 million and above and arrange a meeting for our director to go out and meet with them and offer them tools and solutions to solve their problems and essentially save them money and give them a better service so that they can increase their bottom line and have things a little bit more seamless than it may have been with their existing provider, than their incumbent bank. You know, and that was a pretty exciting role.
There you go. I was just curious because I also work in banking. Well,
yes, I know.
You don't work in banking anymore. You're a little bit further along where I want to be.
Yeah, I don't work in banking anymore because they kicked me to the curb and made me redundant. They trimmed the fat. Technology, I mean, we've all got one of these smartphones, right? Courtesy of Steve Jobs, the late, great Steve Jobs. And banks everywhere in the UK, probably everywhere in the world, are trimming the fat because more people are doing stuff online and on their phones than actually walking into the branch. And with the role that I was doing, unfortunately, I'd been kicked to the curb, but hey, it was a blessing for me because I was still in that fear mode of being fearful of walking away and leaving them to go and do my own thing. So when I was forced to do it, when your back is up against the wall, it's amazing how resourceful you can be.
I can see that. So then, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but continue your story. So how did you get out of network marketing and because I'm assuming you're out of network marketing. I don't know if you're still doing it.
I'm still doing it. I'm still doing network marketing. I love it. I mean, at the end of the day, you get to meet a lot of really cool people. And interestingly enough, the product that I actually promote, it's something that I'm going to use whether I'm part of that company or not anyway. But so being part of the company, it just means that I've got access to better prices of doing the stuff that we all love to do, you know? So it just makes sense for me to just be there, right? But more importantly, I love the personal development. That's where I acquired my first mentors. Never in a million years would I have the opportunity to partner up with and, you know, to have a relationship with, to even start a dialogue with people that have earned 8 figures in the last 5, 10, 15 years. You know, people that are actually big movers and shakers. So network marketing actually put me into that headspace and it put me into that frame of mind. But the problem with network marketing is typically they tell you, go and make a list of 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, your friends and family, right? Then invite them to a meeting, yeah? And the way that I was told to invite, and just a side note, my mum was my sponsor. I had the greatest sponsor in the world because I love her to bits. But she had no experience in network marketing, you know. But my mum was my sponsor, and the way she invited me was kind of the right way. And her and her twin sister, they both jumped into this thing together. And I got it out of my auntie, which she shouldn't have told me what it was. I should have gone to the meeting. I watched the video and I was blown away, and I was in because it was what I'd been looking for. But after a couple of weeks of being in, I was told the right way to invite, right? So up until that point, I'd invited people by telling them what it was. You should never do that. You should never tell people what it is. You're meant to use, I wouldn't say secrecy, but you've got to use curiosity. So how I was taught after I'd burnt out a lot of people was be in a hurry, right? Genuinely be in a hurry. So walk on the street if you have to, so that there's traffic and all of that, because motion creates emotion. All right. So when you're in motion, your emotion is going to be high energy. And I was told the invite shouldn't last more than 45 seconds. I'd actually done invites that lasted 45 minutes before I was given this advice, right? And typically what you do is you phone your friend, you say, hey, I'm in a hurry. What you doing tonight at 7 o'clock? I'm doing nothing. Great. Can you meet me at Starbucks? Can you meet me at this hotel, wherever the meeting's going to be? And if they say, yeah, sure, say, cool, I'm really excited. I've got some amazing news to share with you. So you're going to meet me at ABC at 7 o'clock, right? And when they say yes, you've just confirmed the appointment and then you hang up because you're in a hurry. Now, if they say, oh, what are you excited about? Say, look, I told you I'm in a hurry because I'm picking the kids up from nursery or whatever your excuse is, because that's how you get out of explaining why you're excited, because you're in a hurry and you said that up front, right? And you end the call. If I had have known that when I got started, my first 2 or 3 weeks would have been much better, but I sucked. But the long and short of it, being from a sales background, I was quite comfortable. After I burnt through my list, I was comfortable going to the mall and prospecting people and meeting people. And, you know, I was reading books and stuff, and I got a lot of great ideas. But the problem is that most people can't duplicate a lot of those strategies. And most people expect to get like to become a millionaire in their first 2 days of network marketing. And that just doesn't happen. And that's why most people quit. So I knew that there were people that were having success online. And I actually met one of the guys in my company that's probably doing about 35,000 a month. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but he's the second from the top level in the company. And he's doing some badass income. And I looked him up on Google after I met him at an event, and I found his website, and I went to his website. He had an ebook selling for $7. So, you know, I bought the ebook, read it in about 45 minutes, and it had his telephone number. So I phoned him and I said, hey, it's me. I was at the event yesterday. And he goes, what, Leon? Because I was sitting at the front with my name badge and everything. And I was like, you know, all pumped up and everything. You remembered me? And I said, yeah. I said, I just bought your book and it had your telephone number. So I wanted to give you a call. And he said, awesome. And he gave me a 30-minute free of charge coaching session right there and then. And in that coaching session, he said the two magic words that changed my life as an entrepreneur. You ready for the 2 magic words?
Give it.
I asked him, I said, look, how do you do this whole internet social media thing? Because I see that you got your own blog, you got a website. I see that you got presence on social media. How do you do that to get leads? You know, how do you do that to get people to come to you rather than you chasing people down in the street and in shopping malls, pounding the pavement? And he said 2 words, attraction, marketing. Changed my life. Because you know what I did right after he said that, right?
Went and Googled attraction marketing.
Went and Googled attraction marketing, and long story short, I started to learn about the power of branding yourself. You know, and that you are your brand. It doesn't matter what your product or service is, whether you're in affiliate marketing, network marketing, internet marketing, if you're a realtor, you know, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You want to brand you, because people don't buy products, they don't buy services, they don't buy companies, they buy people. And when you make your personal brand attractive, people buy into you. And with social media, for the first time in history, we don't, if you're a music producer or a rapper, you don't need record labels anymore. You just need to have a good presence on social media, right? You don't need to have an advert on TV. You just need to be on social media. You can run ads on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram and put your message in front of targeted people, not everybody, where only 5% are interested. You can put your message in front of the people that are actually looking for you. So as I started learning about personal brand and attraction marketing, it then took me to a stage where I realized that Leon Witter is my business, not the product or service the service that I was promoting. And as a result of that, I started doing affiliate marketing, because I also learned that there's only probably about 10% of people are really going to join your network marketing business. But if you can sell a product to the 90% that say no, then you've got cash flow. And even if that's only $7 or $20, if you make $20 from selling a product to someone that didn't join your business, that's $20 that you could spend on advertising to put your message in front of somebody that will join your business. You know, and when you make $100 or $1,000, guess what? You've got money that you can pump into advertising, and then you can scale up. You can even keep some of that for yourself. And then I went into coaching, because I also discovered that, hey, you could sell affiliate products to people, but some people don't, they may plug into a coaching like an actual system or a course, but some people need to be held by the hand. Being on a course isn't enough for them. So once you've gotten results yourself and you know how to get leads online, then you can actually coach people and walk them through step by step how you did it. Once you're getting your first automated sale where you didn't even pick up the phone to speak to the prospect, you can then teach people how you did it so that they can do it themselves, because the courses will teach them how to do it, but most people will try and reinvent the wheel. Whereas if they're paying you for coaching and you hold them accountable, right? The next week when you have the follow-up call, you're going to ask them, did you do as you said you were going to do? And they're going to be too embarrassed to say anything other than yes, which means they're more inclined to take the action in order to get the result.
True. That's very true. So then, now that this is where you're kind of at in life, what are your current projects for 2018? Like, what's big for this year, especially since so much has happened in your life over the last 6 months? If you could if you want to go into that, you don't have to, but if you would like to, How are you going to use that as an asset and a strength for 2018?
So here's the key word for 2018: ecosystem. In fact, that's the reason why Apple became the #1 brand in the world, because they created an ecosystem. Now, I'm not going to share that story. In fact, I'll give you a little bit. The long and short of it, Steve Jobs came back to Apple and he launched the iMac, and that increased Apple's revenue by 0.5% that year. All right. Then in 2001, he launched the iPod. The iPod pod killed the Walkman, it killed the mini disc player, it killed the compact disc player, right? And the mini disc and the compact disc could even kill the Walkman, but the iPod killed all three, all right? And then in 2004, he launched iTunes. And what happened was, when people plugged into iTunes, they could download their music on the go anywhere in the world at any time. They didn't have to go to stores like H&B or Woolworths. In the UK, Woolworths went out of business, right? Many other music stores went out of business. Record shops went out of business, right? I'm a DJ, remember? So I remember when record shops just started shutting down because nobody's buying records, they're all downloading, right? And then in 2008, Steve Jobs launched the smartphone, which was the iPhone. And that was an iPod on steroids, where you had to have a iTunes account in order for your iPhone to work. Now, when people connected their iPhone to iTunes, they realized, hey, if my computer was a Mac, like a MacBook or a Mac Pro, I'm going to have a much better experience than what I'm currently having with my PC. So people started buying Mac computers, not because Apple were promoting Mac computers, but because they gave people an iPhone where they were forced to plug into an ecosystem. And as part of that ecosystem, they just realized that they were having a much better experience by having other products and services. So an ecosystem that I've put together is something called Real Badass Entrepreneur. And the reason why I've done this is there are many Facebook groups out there which are awesome. I'm part of loads of groups, including your groups. And so you've got your ecosystem. A buddy of ours, Marshall, he's got his ecosystem. All right. My buddies over at the Ninja Society, they've got their ecosystem, right? So I've created an ecosystem called Real Badass Entrepreneur, and it's for you if you are a real badass entrepreneur, or you want to be a real badass entrepreneur, or you just want to meet real badass entrepreneurs. And in that ecosystem, you're going to be able to network with other real badass entrepreneurs. You're going to get live training. When I come back from Jamaica, I'm going to be very present in that group, dropping exclusive live training videos that you won't see on my Facebook page, that you won't see on my Facebook profile, that you won't even see on my blog. It's going to be exclusive to that ecosystem. And in that ecosystem as well, I'm going to be looking out for sharp, badass entrepreneurs, so that with any other ventures that I've got in the future, those are the people that I'm actually going to be working with. When I launch courses in the future, people in that group, and I'm working on a huge course right now, but the people in that group are going to get access to those courses before everybody else at a highly discounted price. Sometimes it will only be $7 for a course that I'll push out for like $297 when it goes to launch, because my beta group are going to be the people in the Real Badass Entrepreneur community. All right. And they're the people that are going to be giving the testimonials for stuff that I launch in the future. And guess what? If people are on a funnel that I produce or on my website for testimonials, that's giving them free exposure based on the traffic that I'm getting to my funnels and my actual blog and stuff. You know, so it's reciprocating. Those people will also be affiliates so that they can get anywhere between 30% and 50% commission for recommending a course that they've gone through, a program that they've gone through with me. And as a result of getting the results that they were looking for, naturally we are always recommending stuff that we love. So I want to reward the people that are in my community with affiliate commissions where they've recommended something that I've provided as a service. Maybe it's even an event, all right? But it's all happening inside of the Real Badass Entrepreneur community. Not because I'm a real badass entrepreneur, but because you hear my voice, you're a real badass entrepreneur, and that's why you should be in there.
I love it, man. You're getting me pumped up. Exciting stuff.
I had a Red Bull. I don't usually drink Red Bull, but you know, I wanted to bring the heat.
So the real big, and you are bringing the heat, man. I really appreciate it. This huge course that you're talking about, is this something that we're expecting to see in the first quarter of the year, the second quarter, or later on?
So you should see it in the first quarter of the year. If I wasn't flying out to Jamaica next week, I probably would have dropped it within that time period. But when I come back from Jamaica, I'm definitely going to be speaking more about that. And you probably noticed that I did a post in a few private groups about a trip to Vegas, going to an event, right, which is going to be in Vegas. It's an event that I'm looking forward to, and it's for a week in Vegas. And I actually got a free ticket, which instead of giving it to somebody that I already know, I want to give people the opportunity to qualify to not only get that ticket to this workshop where you're going to learn some seriously powerful internet marketing strategies from 6, 7, and 8-figure, even 9-figure earners, but you also get to spend a week in Vegas with me, and your hotel and everything will be paid for. You just need to cover your flight, because who knows, you might be coming from Singapore or the United States or the UK. So, you know, you cover that and you'll get to spend a week with me in Vegas. You'll get free access to the workshop, and, you know, your hotel and everything's going to be covered. More will be spoken about that when I come back from Jamaica. But again, that's another reason why people want to be in the Real Badass Entrepreneur community.
I love it. Guys, for those of you watching live right now, it's currently not linked there. Those of you watching the replay, it is going to be linked as soon as we finish this, immediately at the top. So please click that. Go on ahead and join that group right now. Trust me, you're going to want to get in when he releases that course for that early bird price so you can give him feedback, because Leon is about to exponentially explode, and you guys want to be on the in before you miss out on all that stuff. But Leon, I do want to respect your time, so I'm going to ask you the last question I ask everybody on the show, and you can answer this as long as you'd like. But is there anything that's currently on your heart or on your mind right now that you want people to know about? And this can either be about you, someone else, a specific cause, what have you.
So something that's on my heart and my mind right now is there's a disease, right? There's a disease that most people are unaware of. They're feeling it, but they're unaware of it. And we need to understand what the word disease actually means. When you have a disease, that means that you're at dis-ease. You're not at ease with something. You're not at ease with yourself, with your mindset, with your body. And this disease, right, that I want people to become aware of is that most people don't realize that they've got so much power and so much potential within them. And it's people like yourself, Jordan, doing what you're already doing, right, with your podcast, Embrace the Chase, right, spreading the message of entrepreneurship and leverage and automation and letting people hear other people's stories and how they become successful. If there's anything that I want more people to be aware of, it's the fact that you've got greatness within you, and you've also got a responsibility to yourself, right? To get rid of that stinking thinking that's holding you back. Get rid of that stinking thinking that's telling you, it's that little voice. I hear that little voice all the time. Leon, what if they say no? Leon, what if it doesn't work? Leon, what if they laugh at you? But what if they don't laugh at you? What if they say yes? What if it does work? That's how you need to think, all right? So something that I'm passionate about is people being aware of this dis-ease, that you do have greatness within you, and it's your responsibility to yourself to take action, to step out your comfort zone. In fact, it's not even comfort, it's familiarity. Yeah, a lot of people call it the comfort zone. When you step out your comfort zone and you become uncomfortable, that's where your dreams are. However, there's nothing comfortable about working 12 hours a day, doing a job that you hate. That's not comfortable. There's nothing comfortable about not seeing your friends and your family, not doing the hobbies and doing the things that you want to do, not being able to travel when you want to do. There's nothing comfortable about only having 2 weeks vacation a year because that's what the company you work for say that you're allowed to have. There's nothing comfortable about asking someone if you can go and use the toilet, like I had to do for many years in the bank when I was a cashier. But it's familiar, right? But when you step out of that zone of being familiar, when you step into that unfamiliar zone, guess what? The things that you're unfamiliar with, if you're unfamiliar with earning 10 grand a month, if you're unfamiliar with being a millionaire, right? If you're unfamiliar with having 5-day weekends, The only way you're going to get those things that are unfamiliar to you is when you start doing the things that are unfamiliar to you, doing the things that you've never done. Because when you do the things that you've never done, you'll get the things that you've never had. And as a result of me saying that, you have a duty to yourself to do that. And you've also got a duty to everybody else to let them know it's possible. So go read a book, go to a seminar, go listen to audiobooks if you don't like to read. My car's a rolling university. If you drive 500 to 1,000 hours a year in your car, imagine how much knowledge, imagine how many PhDs you can have in success by listening to 1,000 hours worth of success audio in your car, rather than listening to that crap and that junk that they play on the radio from somebody that's already got what you want, but not teaching you how to get it. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to everybody else to let them know it's possible. So that's what I'm passionate about.
You are fire, brother. You're just pure fire. I love it. I wish I could just, you don't have a podcast, do you?
Real Badass Entrepreneur. In fact, when you do post the link to the page, because the podcast, I done a test episode a couple of days ago. It's going to be something that I do daily, although I haven't started doing it daily. I've just done one test podcast just a few days ago. And again, the reason why I haven't started doing it daily yet is I'm conscious that I am going to be away for 2 weeks as of next week. But the Real Badass Entrepreneur fan page, when you go onto the fan page, that's where the podcast is going to be uploaded daily. That's where you'll see a button that can give you direct access to the group. All right. And that's where a lot of stuff, a lot of exclusive content for Real Badass Entrepreneur is going to be distributed, including interviews just like the one that you and I are on now.
And this is all Facebook only, right? Just so
it's Facebook only, but most of the stuff that I'm going to be posting on Facebook is going to go on my blog. I'm putting together a website for Real Badass Entrepreneur as well. You know, so for all of the badass entrepreneurs that like the page, you know, they can go to the website and find some exclusive stuff that will be on the website only. Just a side note for you, if you're an entrepreneur or marketer, it's great to have Facebook as your central hub, but you want to have some stuff that's exclusive on Instagram so that you can grow your audience on Instagram. You want to have stuff that's exclusive just to YouTube so that you can grow your audience on YouTube. You want to have stuff that's just exclusive to your blog so that you can grow traffic to your blog. And just a side note, with Facebook's announcement on the algorithm change, I know a lot of people that are building funnels, and you know, they've got the mindset, which I don't blame them, because I had that mindset for a long time, that you send traffic straight to your funnel. However, I promise you, for 2018, native advertising is going to be the most powerful advertising strategy you can use for your Facebook ads, for your online ads. And what native advertising basically is you drive traffic not to a landing page where you're offering some freebie or you're selling a product, but you drive traffic to content that's going to solve a problem that they have, that they can engage with. And throughout that content, you're going to be giving them reasons why they want to take the next step to opt into your freebie. So the top of your funnel should be social media. The next layer of your funnel should be a blog, right? A blog post, okay? And then from the blog post, you'll organically, naturally get traffic through ads and through search engine optimization, if you're a badass at that, where people are going to opt in to your actual email list, okay? So there's going to be exclusive content just for the website once that's launched, which you won't get on Facebook, but Facebook will say, hey, by the way, blog post on X, Y, and Z, click here, and then they'll get access to some of the exclusive stuff.
I love it, man. I love it. It's like my brain is racing a million miles a minute right now. I'm like, I have a Sharpie. I couldn't find a pen, so I'm like trying not to mark my desk up, but I've been taking notes the whole time. Leon, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you staying up late over in your time. For those of you that don't know, it's almost midnight. So the fact that Leon took time away from his family to be able to jump on tonight means a lot. And guys, please click the link down below, join the Facebook group, be active in it, reach out to Leon. Who you see here is who he really is. This is not some facade. In fact, we were chatting before we went live, and he was so pumped up about what he had to share. I didn't even have a chance to tell him that we weren't live yet. So this is really who he is through and through. But real quick plug, guys, this is the book that he was talking about at the beginning. If you've never read Cash Flow Quadrant, check it out. And obviously, go check out his Facebook group. But Leon, really appreciate you, sir. Would love to have you on again in the future. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap this up?
I just want to say, hey, Jordan, you're a badass entrepreneur. What you're doing for the community, you're adding so much value to the community. I'm not even sure if you even realize how much value you're giving the community. So you freaking rock. Everybody in your private group, everybody that follows Embrace the Chase, you're all badass entrepreneurs. Keep it moving. And, you know, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So anytime that you feel that, how can I put this? That things that your goal keeps on moving away from you, just embrace the chase, right? You've got to embrace the chase, because if you go to a bar, right, and there's a girl that you really like or a guy that you really like, if you don't put in enough work to show that person that they actually deserve to have you, you don't actually deserve to have them.
Preach.
All right. So that's the last thing that I'm going to add. Keep on hustling, keep on moving, and never quit. Winners never quit and quitters never win. Boom. Napoleon Hill, my favorite book, Think and Grow Rich. That's where that quote came from.
I love it, dude. You're fired. Guys, everybody right now, go join that Facebook group. Don't even ask questions. Just do it. You won't regret it. Leon, I appreciate you, sir. We'll see you guys next time.
I appreciate you too. Take care and stay blessed.